Hello, hi. It is Thursday. I was supposed to start this yesterday. I didn't, because if you didn't watch the previous episode, a bitch is sick. It's me. I think it's been exactly 7 days, but I'm at like 90% right now. Like, I don't have to go blow my nose every 20 minutes. It's real nice. I'm like a little stuffed up a little bit, but like I woke up able to breathe and I was like, what is this? And my throat isn't bothering me at all, so I'm having a great time. The bad news is today's an editing day, which means I don't want to read. um so I should tell you what I read yesterday, I guess, which was, I think, like 25, somewhere around that, pages of Game of Thrones. I have the physical copy, but I don't have it down here with me. But yeah, it was 2 chapters. If you know anything about Game of Thrones, this is the chapter in which Catelyn's going back to Winterfell from King's Landing, and she comes across, like, she's like trying to keep her secret identity so nobody knew that she left to Winterfell, really, and whatnot. And she's doing a pretty good job. And then Tyrion shows up and is all like, oh, my lady, and he's like low-key making fun of the other lords, their families, or like their bannermen, right? And all these bannermen, like their lords, like usually like their fathers or whatnot, all are bannermen for her father. And so it's like this whole thing where he's like low-key making fun of them, right? And she is just like, oh yes, I am me, and also let me state all the ways that we're all pretty close, and you all know my father, and he's the closest friend of yours. Help me arrest this bitch. And the way Tyrion's face was just like, ah, fuck. Like, I remember watching it in season 1, but I was just like, this is so funny. That's so funny. Is it possibly the beginning of the downfall of everything? Listen, technically, Littlefinger is the downfall of everything, which is funny because the second chapter was the hands tournament, right? From Sansa's point of view, in which Joffrey is pretending to be nice to her, right? The Tyrell guy son is kind of flirty with her. Littlefinger comes up to her and is a little creepy, and I was like, I don't remember this in the show because it's been a long time since I've watched season 1, but I think I do remember something similar. But I got much more creep vibes reading it, because just reading about this middle-aged man go like, your mother was my flower once, and then like stroke her face as he plays with her hair. I'm sorry. And then we get the part where she talks with Sandor Clegane, and he tells her about his past, and yeah, I'm liking it. I'm slowly making progress in it. Good times. That's all I read yesterday. Today, so here's the issue. I also don't want to read because I started watching Witcher season 3, which for me is gonna be the last season, right? And it's very funny. I'm having a great time because it's bad. I'm not liking it. The last episode I watched was my least favorite episode so far, which is so funny because the episode before that I really liked. It was the best episode since the season premiere of season 2, honestly, for me. It was just not good. It's the one where they do the conclave or whatever, and I was just like, I'm not. What is this shit? Also, the twist of who's the bad guy is in the mages, so fucking obvious. Like, guys, please. Not even like that was obvious. It was obvious that the guy that they assumed it was obviously not the person. Like, that's too obvious, my dudes. Like, hello? So that's fun. But I'm having a good time watching it, which makes it so once I finish editing, I'm not gonna wanna read. I'm gonna wanna watch that. So instead I've decided audiobook, which means I get to start like my 12th book. I'm currently reading so many books. I'm gonna start another one. I do currently have an audiobook that I'm listening to, but I'm waiting for the ebook to come in on Libby so that I can dual read it, because that will be much better. So for my book club, we're reading a self-help nonfiction. That was the theme for January because it's New Year, and also all these people mostly read that. So, I don't remember. It's like good something. I don't know. It doesn't look like I know what this book is called. I have the audiobook on Hoopla. That's why I'm reading. One of the reasons why I'm reading it now, because my loan is due in a week, so might as well start it now for this. Good to great. That's what it is. I just learned with Hoopla I can get season 1 of the Librarians. I don't need to. It'd be great if I got past season 1. Every time I stopped like partially through season 2. Anyways, that's the plan. I need to read that. I'll probably only listen to it for a little bit, like not that long. Because I just really want to watch The Witcher. I'm so close to finishing. I watched 2 episodes last night, and I have 3 episodes left right now. If that gives you how much I've already watched today, and it's only noon. So, you know, fun times. And yeah, I think that's everything. I don't know. I'm continuing to talk to postpone the fact that I don't want to edit. I know I don't want to do it then. But I will go edit. I will update you. I don't know. I will probably listen to the audiobook earlier rather than later is what I should do. Right? And then I can spend the rest of the day just watching The Witcher. So if I do that, I will update you right after with what I read. How many books am I actually reading right now? This is the real question. It's a lot. I know the answer is a lot. 10. Okay. That's fine. You know, I'm so proud of myself for getting over page 300 in Game of Thrones. I did get, in 2020, I did start it and get halfway through, but then life. I was out of the mood. But, you know, and I started back from the beginning in August. So, you know, we're doing okay on that. I'm just slowly making progress. I have so many books also that came in on Libby today that I need to read, so we're having a good time. I was gonna do manga, but I'm not in the mood for manga. Maybe tomorrow. Everyone clap. I did all the editing. I've not watched more Witcher since then. We should all be proud. I will finish it tonight, so you will know my thoughts tomorrow. And I read the first 25% of Good to Great. Listen, I'm not a self-help person normally, like really ever. And also, you know, I forgot Untamed, which I read last month, was also considered self-help. Rated it 2 stars. I'm probably gonna rate this 2 stars. I'm pretty sure I heard this man's say the phrase level 5, as in level 5, CEO or executive or whatever, like 100 times. And there's like no chapter markers, at least in the audiobook I have. So I just had to stop at a random place because I was like, I don't know what's happening. I am retaining maybe 2% of this. I'm just like, yeah. In case you don't know, this is like a self-help business book that was chosen for my book club. Other people put books in there. I put one random one in there. I just looked up on Reddit, on the reading side of Reddit, the only place of Reddit I go to find a self-help book that people liked, put in there, and that's the only one I put in there. There was like 17, I want to say, books. That's most likely wrong. And then a random wheel chose the winner, and that one was the winner. And listen, I'm willing to bet I know who will like this book, which is the person who put it in and the person who I run this book club for, because they are both self-help book type people. Those are mostly the books they read until they met me, and then I got both of them to read Bride, because that's the type of person I am. And like one of them has their own business, the other one like literally bought this book, so like this is clearly their type of book. So I think the rest of us are just gonna be like, meh. I know one other person is reading it, and she's also already started it, and I'm not sure if she's gonna like it either. I don't know, maybe she may get more out of it than I do. I'm just existing while I listen to this. I love how he said that this book, in like the beginning, he did talk about how, yeah, this is technically a business book, but like people from every walks of life, everyday people can read this book from his lectures or whatever that he gives about this. Right. The people, like everyday normal people who have like listened to them or read his whatever, I don't know, get something out of it too. I'm telling you now, I'm the most basic bitch ever. I'm getting nothing so far. Okay, the only thing I've gotten, I don't even know. Listen, I was sitting there after the around 200th time he said level 5, and I was like, what the fuck is a level 5? I was so confused. I was like, did I miss something? And then like the next sentence is him talking about how the whole entire book explains what level 5s are. Like, you know, I've listened to another 10% since that point, and I have no inkling. I have not learned anything about level 5s except that level 5s exist. I think the only thing I've learned is that maybe nepotism bad for business. Like maybe if you put people who would be good in the positions instead of people who are just related to other people who work there in the position, then things turn out better because they know what they're doing. And also treat and pay your employees appropriately. Wow. I would have never guessed. Yeah, that's like the only things I've learned about a level 5, I guess. I did make the joke in the forum for the book club that the only thing I've learned so far is Bella is a level 5. Should I put the demon photo of her up on the demon photo? I have a lot of demon photos of my dog. She's so funny. Photos up to just be like, this is a level 5. I'm gonna do that. The one from 2 weeks ago editing me. You know the one. You know the one. You know, it's funny because I'm clearly not the audience for this. And so I'm laughing because of that, but it's not a good time. I'm not having a good time. I can't wait to read it, give 2 stars. I think every book other than the Knifed Fork series, which by the way, Knifed is over here. We're very proud of her. Other than that series, I think every book that we've read for the book club has been generally successes for everybody, but me. Yeah, the mystery thriller I was mid about. There's only one other person who was mid about it. Everybody else loved it. The holiday romance, honestly, I don't think anybody else has read it or finished it. I know somebody is a good chunk of the way through, but I don't think she's finished it because classes just started back up for her, and I know she's busy. And I don't think anybody else has started it because everyone else is behind. Whoops. And so, but it definitely gives something that they would like, right? Like I can see how these people would like that book, and this one, and I'm just sitting here. This book club is a failure for me, but great for them. I'm getting these bitches to read, okay? At least I'll have one of my nonfiction done for a goal for that. You know, that's the only reason I'm reading it. I was talking to somebody about it. I was like, no, the only reason I'm actually just gonna do it, because it's not for me. I know this. I knew this going into it, okay? So I'm not that mad about it. But the only reason I'm reading it is, one, it's my book club, so I should read it. Well, I'm running the book club, so I should read it. And 2, because it just knocks one of the books out for that, so I'm partially there. I'm ahead of schedule. Whoop-de-doo. Anyways, I may finish it tomorrow. Here's the thing. I didn't say it. Also, by the way, I did put the first short story collection for The Witcher, on hold on Libby, which is great for me. I did learn. I was like, I'm pretty sure I've read one of these before. Yeah, it was the first like full-length novel, and I have learned that that's not the one you're supposed to start with, and that's why I had issues when I read it. I remember being like, I feel like I'm missing something the whole time. That's why. It's also very funny because I think that's why I disliked season 2 so much, in comparison to season 3, because some of season 2 and the one book, I think it was Blood of Elves, that I've read, it's like loosely based off it at this point. So there's like a little bit of a connection, and so I like had just read that and I could see what they could have done with it, and they said they did this, and I was like, bam. But I did get so many books. I think I did mention this in the intro. I got so many books from Libby today. Most of them graphic novels or manga. I have to read so many. I gotta read 2 volumes of the manga I'm in the middle of, and I have both books and a graphic novel duology that I have to reread and take notes on. So I'm gonna be busy. Good news is I'm not as sick. Most of my sniffling today has been because it's just been cold. It's cold here. But yeah, that's everything. I will possibly finish it tomorrow. Here's the thing. Am I having a good time? No. But is it an easy read because I can just play it and then be playing with the AI on Fable? Dude, the AI. I screen recorded. Fable has this AI system where if you go onto your TBR, it will pick a random book from your TBR. And so I saw that, tried it out, screen recorded doing it again. Hilariously got the same book twice, which the chance of doing that with like 943 books, right? They did a third time, got a different book. But I was testing out that, and then also if you give the AI specific genre or theme or whatnot, it will give you a recommendation. And so I did that, and it gives you like 5, and I think 2 were on my TBR. You know, I've been playing around with the AI on the app, which is the only part I've really liked so far. So I was just playing around with that while I was listening, having a good time. That's it. I remember the point I was gonna bring up about that. I was screen recording and sending it to the fish, and the fish was like, that's too much. The graphics for it is way too much. It's like, you really gotta do all that just for it to pick a random book. I get that I have a lot of books it's gotta sort through to pick a random one, but not that many, okay? Anyways, I got a lot of work to do, and I'm not gonna do any more tonight. So goodbye. I'm gonna get ready for bed soon, probably. Wash my face. And then sit down. Actually, I'm gonna talk to friends. And then I'll sit down and watch The Witcher. Stay tuned for my review tomorrow. Listen. It's not good, but I'm having fun. Hello, hi, I call this look. I'm cold, so I'm wearing an athletic sweater. I found it in the back of my dresser. I forgot I had this. We have multiple things to talk about, including the fact that a friend bought me soup. I don't like soup, but I ate it. I ate one of the cans. The important of that is that he also got me a bookmark that I'm gonna actually open. He sent a picture of it. I think he has when I sent a picture of it, and I laughed. I was like, that's so me-coded. And then he bought me one with pink tassels because he knows me. And I think now I have every kind of bookmark. I have metal, magnet, which is also from him, bamboo, chain, and then normal paper. So I'm normal. Do we start with the Witcher review? Witcher season 3. Hear me out. I know I'm different from everybody else. Can you see this? Probably not. I don't watch porn. I read it like a fucking lady is what I said. See, my first nickname in this group was classy fucking lady. So yeah. Now I have to read another physical book. God damn it. Summer. Witcher season 3. I know I'm different from everybody else because I was looking into the rating scores, whatnot, of the previous seasons. Which the only one I remember vividly what it was, I remember season 1 being a 68%. And then I think season 2 was a lot higher. And then season 3 was like around in the 70s, which is where I would put it. I would put it at like a 75. I would give it a C, season 3. My favorite episodes are the ones sandwiching the conclave episodes, so I think that's like 4 and 6. Those were funny. I liked those ones, okay? But I really disliked season 2, but it's the first episode. And season 1, I know I'm the outlier in liking season 1 because I know most people didn't like the non-linear storytelling that happened, but I did, and it makes it fun every time I rewatch it. Being able to notice the little things here and there. So, you know, there's that. So, like, season 1 would be like a B minus. Season 2 would be a D, and season 3 would be a C. Why do we need a whole episode where Cirilla is just in the desert? I don't know. Didn't like the end of the season for her because it was just a repeat of a thing I really didn't like in season 2, basically. Other things. There was one point where Geralt was injured, and there was like so much talk about how they couldn't heal him magically, and so I really thought they were gonna make it so that like his whole body had to change, and that's how they were gonna do the Liam Hemsworth thing. No, apparently it's just not gonna be brought up. I don't know. Maybe I'll watch the first episode to see if they bring it up, but I don't suspect so. Yennefer was fine. The 3 of them being like a family, I did like seeing that. Jaskier, top tier in the season. One thing I really appreciate, making him the emotional through line in the season, him being the emotional one in the group. Right, he's the most emotional of all of them, and also he makes sure, like, the prince guy who is his boyfriend, it says that he's able to see people like who they really are. I love this lens flare. I feel like I'm in Star Trek. So yeah, no, that I liked that. That was fun. I liked all the family stuff. That was fun. It was what I wanted in season 2, basically, with the family stuff. Like, hear me out. What if we had gotten this in season 2? Instead of, like, nothing with Yennefer, because Yennefer had no reason to be there in relation to the books. And then, in season 3, or at least, like, second half of the season, and then season 3, hear me out, we just get to enjoy them instead of just, like, having one episode that is just a speed run of a month of time with them, in which we get to see it grow in, like, 20 minutes. Right? Instead of that, we get, like, the second half of season 2, and then season 3, we get to sit in it and be happy with it. So it doesn't feel rushed. Anyways, that's my thoughts and opinions on that. Oh, I gotta bring up the best part. Afterwards, I watched the season 4 teaser trailer thing. So there's this, I think it was the last line Geralt says, or Henry Cavill as Geralt says. If not the last line, one of the last lines. And it was a pretty good line. And so, in the trailer, they have Liam Hemsworth say it. And I started laughing so hard. I was laughing a lot watching it. God, that episode after the conclave, laughing so much. But I was laughing so hard at that because I realized Henry Cavill with his accent, Geralt speaks very monotone most of the time. And so, with him doing the accent, it sounds like him doing a character. It's him being in character. Liam Hemsworth isn't doing the accent, so but he's still doing the monotone thing. So it just sounds like he's just reading off the lines from a script. And it's so funny. Also, seeing him in the Witcher armor, I died. I actually died laughing. He looked clean shaven, which is a decision, so he looked like babyface. Right, and he's not like an unmuscular dude, but between the clean shaven and not being Henry Cavill, I was just like, what is this toddler doing in the Witcher armor? Also, I cannot remember a time in season 3 when they put him in the Witcher armor, which is funny because I remember that being a complaint in season 2, that the new Witcher armor sucked. And so while it was on the cover art for season 3, I don't remember ever seeing it, which is dumb because he's constantly fighting. But it was so funny. I was like, okay, so I'll probably like watch the first episode of season 4 just for the joke, but see what they're planning to do with that. But otherwise, I'm not gonna watch it. Now I should talk about books. I also watched episode 1 of Daredevil because the new version, the new season reboot, whatever, is supposed to come out. I think in March is what it said when I looked it up. And I never finished it. I watched season 1. I remember that. So I started again. I watched the first episode. Listen, this is just me trying not to watch Battlestar Galactica, and how I'm doing it is that's not based off of books. Technically, Daredevil's based off of comic books, so it's fine. It's fine. Anyways, good to great. 2 stars. Listen, the new term was hedgehog something. I was laughing at how dumb it was. Listen, at least it gave me time to put in Notion. I have a catalog of all my books on my TBR, both physical books I own that I haven't read yet, ebooks I own that I haven't read yet, and then just every book on my TBR, right? And then also I have one for books that I've been looking into, but before I put them all on my TBR. So one, I cleaned out a lot of books on my TBR by doing that, because I found a bully romance. I'm not reading that. Why was that on there? And a bunch of historical romance. There was a phase when I was like just adding every historical romance on my TBR, and a lot of them I don't think are for me. I know my taste now when it comes to historical romance, because this is back when I first read historical romance in 2021, I believe, around my birthday. But yeah, so that I was doing that. I was adding books for my TBR there, because it takes a long fucking time, because I have over 700 books on my TBR. So or not 700, 900. Where did I get the number 700 from? So I added like 36. It takes some time. There's a lot of data I want to put in. So I was able to do that while listening along. Put a piece in a puzzle. Made some soup. I did eat the soup. It was fine soup. I think I brought that up. Listen, none of us should be surprised I rated it 2 stars. It's not for me, and I'm moving on with my life. I read it just because it's the book club I run, and I'm just never gonna think about it again. My favorite part was when he called Disney a great company. Like, I know this came out in 2001, right? But hear me out. I think every person over the age of 16 understands that Disney is a great company, as in doing company things. God, me talking is making my nose run more. But as like, a lot of his book is being like, hey, if you're like a good person on top of being an executive or whatever, it will make your company even better, right? And then I think we all recognize Disney's not good people. Like, no. No. Thank you very much. So yeah, no. I'm good with that one. And then at the end, in the beginning, very beginning, he talked about, he was like, thank you to all my research people. And at the end, very end, when he was listing off all the people, I skimmed through it, that section, so I don't remember, he may have brought up every single one of their names, but I don't remember it happening, which is dumb, because he brought up 5 minutes of other people's names. But in that, I learned that they're all college students, university students, at a college that one of his friends works at. And I just really hope they were properly paid for this. Like, they better have gotten a shit ton of credit or something for doing this, right? Because this is, again, 2001 when it came out, and he said it took like almost 5 years to write it with all the research that they did. So, right? So, like, that was before people were talking about how unpaid internships are bullshit, and getting just college credits for internships is dumb. Like that's just labor, free labor. Like what the hell? So I hope I got a lot more than just a college credit or two. That was my final thoughts on it. That was fun. Yeah, 2 stars, moving on with my life. I do have so much reading I need to do because I'm behind because sickness. So I'm gonna probably read. There's 2 graphic novels and there's also 2 mangas I need to read. So I will go read at least one of them. I don't know which one. I'll choose randomly. It'll be Yana or a graphic novel that I need to read for the podcast. But that's not an episode until March. So like, I just need to read it now because I have them from Libby right now. So I'm gonna go do that because I gotta catch up with stuff. And because of that, I will probably see you later to update you. Okay, I swear I don't normally put at this angle when I sit here. Fast update. Because 1, it was just me reading 2 volumes of manga. 2, because it's a little bit before 8, and 8, we have skincare and movie night. Yeah, 7:54. Also, big movie night tomorrow night. I won the movie wheel, so I get to pick the movie again. And so we're watching the Robert Pattinson Batman, which will be the 2nd time for me in the same amount of months. Oh, whoops. So, that's happening. Manga. I read volumes 5 and 6 of Yona of the Dawn. Quick rundown of what the basic plot is Yona is like 16-year-old red-haired princess, in love with her cousin, who murders her father on her 16th birthday, is on the run with her personal guard Hawk, and currently on the journey to collect the, I think it's 4 dragons. As of this one, they've met the 3rd one in these 2. They meet the green one who can fly. They have the white one who has strong dragon arm. And I think at the beginning of 5, they get the blue one who has sight, right? And so the dragon's jobs are to protect the great red dragon and his descendants no matter what. And despite the fact that she has said that the red dragon's line has died out, when she has red hair and all the symptoms of meeting the descendant of the red dragon is happening whenever one of the dragons meet her. And so they're traveling, and together they will take over her country. I don't know. And also she's trying to learn how to fight and survive herself. This is very important for these volumes. Initially because she wanted to be able to take care of herself, but like now also, especially because like Hawk has already almost died protecting her once, and so she's like, I have like nobody else in my life, and so she's like, I don't want to be vulnerable so that he dies protecting me, therefore I will trade. Okay, right, there's a little bit of a bodyguard romance, and it's starting already. Listen, there were like hints as in him flirting with her and her just being oblivious, right? This one, there's a guy who, these 2 have a lot of, them going to other towns that she's never been to before and learning that her father, not the king she always knew him to be, because the people are suffering, including this one town in a port, where people are regularly kidnapped to be sold. That's my way of trying not to say the word. The green dragon works with pirates to defeat this guy, right? This is important because she, after witnessing some of this damage, there's like a whole bunch of funny stuff, right? Back and forth where they're trying to find the green dragon, and the green dragon, not knowing that Hawk is working for the red dragon, is all trying to like befriend Hawk to make him join his group and all this stuff. And then Yona decides, hey, I want to help this village. So they join up the pirates. Great scene. There's this part where she has to get this magic or kind of magical herb that's very, very, very dangerous to get to, right? Part of it is that it has a bunch of thorns, so she gets thorns all up in her hands. And so afterwards, Hawk goes up to her and puts honey on her hands to get the thorns out. I don't know if that's an actual thing that works. And right before this, the green dragon was taunting him because clearly if Hawk and her aren't a thing, that means he must not desire her. And then we get confirmation that Hawk, for a while at least, has had a thing for her and just pushes it down for professionalism. And just be like, she needs him as like a friend and protector, not as a lover type thing, right? So he just pushes it down. And then seeing her care so much about all these other people, even hurting herself to do so, and all this stuff, has him freaking the fuck out. Mixed with what the green dragon has said. And so he accidentally spills more honey on the back of her hands, and then he's like licking the honey off of her hands. She runs off. She's like, what the hell are you doing? And he's just like, no, I can't do this. Like, she's too important to me. I should just be happy with knowing that she's safe in here by my side and all this stuff. And anyways, to defeat the bad guy, she and the other guy that isn't the dragon or Hawk, who is Pretty Boy, who can like do anything but fight, he dresses up as a woman, and the two of them get purposely kidnapped so that they can be taken, and she can set off a flare from the ship that has, because they have like multiple ships, from the ship that have the captives, and so that they know which ones have the captives and where to go to get them out, right? So that's happening. There's a great point where everyone's freaking out about her volunteering to do this. Hawk at one point is freaking out so much he hugs her. Never happens. Also, everyone else starts calling her Yona, and she goes to him and she's all like, I want you to call me Your Highness still, because you're like the only person who's like I can trust from my time before, and I want you to remember that. And he's all like, yeah, sure. Also, she gives, the green dragon does not want to join them, and she's like, you don't have to. I don't want to force anyone to come with me. And in like volume 2 or 3, she forced Hawk to continue going with her, and he's like, I didn't get that choice. And she's like, well, you're different. So that was a whole thing. Anyways, he's freaking out. He hugs her. He's like literally hugging her against a wall, and she's like, I gotta do this. And then she goes off to get ready, and he's all like, I'm worried for her, but also, more than being worried for her, I am shaking with excitement of seeing her come into her own person, especially this powerful woman who will do anything for what she believes is right. And I'm just saying, it's kind of hot. I kind of get it. Anyways, yeah, she gets taken. The head guy there takes a certain liking to her. She plays him. Oh, it's so funny. She knows exactly what to say for him to be like, oh, there's no way you could be the princess, because no princess would belittle themselves by saying things like this. Yep. And the battle's about to start. That is what volume 7's gonna start with. It's like a 2-week wait. There we go. For volume 8. So I don't know when I'll read volume 7. I have a bunch of other things I need to read. I got another book from Libby today. Libby needs to stop sending me books. I have too many. And that's that. I'm gonna go get ready for skincare and movie night. Goodbye. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Oh, hi, this will be a fast update because it's after 6:30 and 7. It's 6:40. Shit. And I still have to do my skincare and movie night. It's about to happen. We're about to watch Batman. Very exciting because I won. I think I brought that up yesterday. Good news. Tomorrow you get to see something other than me talking about books, because I am, well, maybe not tomorrow. Maybe Monday. Because Sunday nights we're doing creative nights, and so I'm gonna start practicing embroidery again. I have a plan for an embroidery thing, but I gotta practice because it's a lot of complicated stitches that I don't know. I don't know how to do them. So, you know, that's fun. me. So last night I did read a chapter of another book. Wow. A Door in the Dark. I think that's the name of it. Which is one of the ones that I read the first like 10-ish% for the Big Giant Simon T free books vlog in December, right? That Big Giant one. If you have not seen any of that one, how? But basically the premise of this one is that we follow Ren, who is like top 5 of her class, one of the best magic users at her school, but for some reason nobody is accepting her to work for them. And so there's like, when she graduates, and she's about to graduate, so like that's becoming an issue for her. Now, one thing you know from the prologue so instantly, but also from the synopsis, is that something goes wrong, and her and a bunch of other students get teleported somewheres, and one of them is dead, right? And so all of part 1 is the before, which is 92 pages, I think, is where part 2 actually starts, which is the after and the rest of the book. I read up to that. In which we learn one of the guys who is teleported with is this, like, one of the highest of the highs, like air whatever. He just did something dumb at a party that caused a bunch of injuries and possibly death and a whole bunch of stuff, and people are just ignoring it because he's super rich and powerful, so who cares, right? And there's history with them. She tries to avoid this family because hints of his father having something to do with her father's death, right, when she was a child, and she witnessed it. So that's a thing. It's all the scholarship kids are there. So it's her. And then, I can't remember her name. Her best friend's name is like Timothy or something like that. Whose specific ability, she is a scholarship because she has this specific super rare ability to heighten other people's magic, just being around them. So that's super important. And then the other 2 scholarship kids are, I think his name's like Avi. They have like weird names, so trying to pronounce them are going to be interesting. In which he is a sports scholarship kid, basically, known for beating up anybody and everybody. And right before the teleportation happened, he was fighting with Theo because his cousin happened to be in the building that was crashed or destroyed because of the thing that Theo did. And so he threatened Theo, and then Theo was like, oh, you're good for nothing, blah, blah, blah. I can destroy you with just, like, even if you try to attack me, my family will destroy you, right? And so he decides not to attack him, including the other guy who's there. I think it's a guy, who we'll talk about in a minute. But he does, like, point at him, and he's like, you bitch, you did this to my cousin. And the friend of Theo does a stun spell on him. So when they teleport, he has been stunned. So he's kind of out of sorts. The most physically powerful person's out of sorts. The other scholarship kid, her name starts with a C, and that's all I remember. But she works, she's like the medical person. She has a scholarship because of her expertise when it comes to anatomical magic. And so works in with cadavers a lot in medical stuff. Also, if they're in a cold place when they're teleported, she's the only one prepared because she's wearing a bunch of cold clothing items. Also, if they go, we know from like very beginning, Ren's mother is not very attentive to her, and that's where her and her best friend are supposed to be going for break, and this is like the first day of break. Like, this is the end of the last school day before break, so nobody's gonna know that they're missing. Right? Now the last person who I've brought up is Theo's friend, who at the party where the thing went wrong, gave the Timothy, that's where I'm going with her name is, a bunch of drugs, right? That person's family's whole thing is about medical supplies, right? And that's who's dead, right? They're the one that stunned Avon? Abby? I don't know. Big muscular guy. stunned big muscular guy is dead now. And so it's this big mystery of like what to do. And what I remember from the prologue is the Dr. Cadaver woman is the only one who's not freaking out, which makes sense because she is used to dead bodies. So yeah, it's like a lot of figuring out what the fuck happened. After this point. Up to this point has just been setting up Ren's character with all these other characters, knowing about her friendship, why she hates Theo, or a little bit of the reason why she hates Theo, her connection with all these other people. Big muscular guy also happens to be the younger brother of one of her friends from home, who she used to date, so that's like another connection. And then also how she is like usually the most intelligent person in a room, right? But like nobody likes that. Like everyone hates that about her. To the point where that's part of the reason why her boyfriend broke up with her. That was a whole scene. That was like a whole chapter. So there's that. Yeah, a bunch. Yeah, it's just a lot of setting up the magic system in that, and I'm just like, okay. Also, today's a high anxiety day, which, like, reading the breakup scene would have been stressful normally, but on a high anxiety day, I was like on the verge of a panic attack reading it, so I decided to stop reading. I was gonna read more Game of Thrones. My plan was to read 100 pages this weekend of Game of Thrones. I don't know if that's gonna happen. I can start doing that tomorrow. We'll see if that happens. But you know, I had high anxiety days, so I didn't do much reading. I just read the like 55 pages to get to part 2. And that's that. I'm gonna go. I'll talk to you tomorrow. I have 13 minutes to do my skincare. It's been a long time since I've filmed sitting on the ground in front of this chair. Thank you, phone. Me. Guess who still has anxiety, bitch? Spent all night having nightmares. Including a nightmare. Listen, I'm one of those people who, when they have anxiety, have teeth nightmares. Of like teeth falling out. And the most recent one was my front tooth, cracking. So if that happens someday, we know I can see the future. Just a fun tidbit. Batman, still great. Still great. Still love the soundtrack. There were a lot of jokes made. So that was fun. What else happened? I remember when I said I was gonna read Game of Thrones. Again, anxiety. I haven't done anything all day because I've been an anxious bitch. About to do craft night, which is why I have this shit here. So that's why I just stopped reading. I just picked up the book like 45 minutes ago, which is, wait a second, I have my computer right here. I can just look. The Guernsey Literary Potato Peel Society. Sure. Sure. If you didn't watch last week's video, in which I ended the week with starting it because I had the audiobook and I wasn't feeling good, right? And I didn't feel like continuing any of the books I was currently reading. So I started that. So the moral of the story since then, basically it's post-World War II, talking about books and the importance of reading and letters back and forth. The whole book's been back and forth letters. I'm now at 35%. That's still where I'm at. There is, in the ebook, spoiler for the future, part 1 and part 2. And so I'm assuming part 2 is when she gets to Guernsey. Because I have seen the movie forever ago. That being said, the narrator for Juliet sounds scarily similar to, I can't remember her name. I want to say Lillian Collins, but I know that's not her name. I can't type because you're on my keyboard, but I can copy and paste the title of the book. Oh my god, that movie came out in 2018. Yeah, that makes sense for me. Lily James. I'm so close. Lily James. You know, the narrator for Juliet's voice reminds me of Lily James so much, so that was fun. Right. That's a fun time. But anyways, my main come away from last week when I started was that this is a horrible book to read via audiobook because it's letters back and forth constantly. And every single time you're hearing from blah blah to Juliet, blah 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 blah, yours, blah blah, from Juliet to blah 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 blah, blah. Love Juliet. Constantly. Constantly. For multiple hours now. So I did put the ebook on Libby on hold. And I just got in, was that last day, like late last night, I think it was. So I decided to continue it, dual reading now, and it has made it better. I will tell you that. The reading experience is better. Am I still enjoying it? No. This is not a book for me. In case you do not know, I do not like books that romanticize World War II. It's not really romanticizing it because there is a lot about the trauma that people experienced, traumatic things people experienced during the time, especially since a good chunk of the main characters live on an island that was occupied by Germany, right, for like 5 or 6 years. So, as you can imagine, so it's not really romanticizing it, but also just like it is labeled as a romance. So not my thing. Listen. At this point, I'm finishing because of stubbornness. And that's that. Thank you very much. Thanks for coming to this. Stay tuned for tomorrow when I probably finish it. I have less than 2 hours at my speed left, so I may read more tonight. I read like 23% today. And show you off my embroidery samples. This is just gonna be me experimenting and learning new techniques. So it's not gonna look good, but it's gonna exist. So fun. Also, yes, this is a giant white pillowcase. That's a piece of crap. I have like a bajillion of them in the, what is it called? Something seat that you're sitting on has like 9 of them now. There used to be 10 because my mom meant to do a cross stitch project in them and then didn't, and then gave them to me when I started to do embroidery. So you know, fun times. Anyways, I'm gonna go because in like 7 minutes the hangout starts. So bye. Oh hi, we have a lot to talk about, including how this bitch sucks ass. It's been 2 hours. You can probably notice how the middle one, middle stem, looks absolutely horrible. I think it's this one. I got okay at the leaf. I did my own. I was looking up different leaf tutorials. I was like, mine's better. And then I started, you can like probably see the hole up here. I started the actual flower, but then realized I did the main part wrong, or right, but I did the starting part wrong, so I couldn't finish it properly. And the reason is because the tutorial I was watching, she will cut either halfway through and just do like the beginning and end of a stitch, or just cut the beginning of a stitch and just like cut to the end of the stitch, and you're just supposed to guess what the fuck is happening. And that's not conducive for how I learn. It's mixed with the fact that it was like the first time I was trying to do a 3D stitch and I gave up. I really gave up. And then I decided I was gonna do a different rose, which I like the look of better. And has more stitches that I know how to do already, so it will be easier on me. And then at that point I realized the 2 hours were basically up, and I was like, might as well read some more. Because it's technically supposed to be doing like hobbies, so you don't have to just be doing creative stuff. You can be reading, like some people are just using it as reading time. I'm also going to be fixing my nails because there's patches missing. There have been for a while, so that it can last at least till the end of the week, and then I'll redo them next Monday. Multitasking, me, let's go. I just realized I still have to fold my laundry. I'll save it for tomorrow. Yeah, no, so I was like, I'll read a little bit more of Guernsey. And then I finished Guernsey. Dogs are being walked by, ignoring the noises. I finished Guernsey at like 11:30. I just continued to read, and then next thing I knew, it was 11:30 and I'd finished it. Um, I will give the book this. Listen, from what I remember of the movie was going much more the romance arc. The romance, not really a thing until like the last 15 minutes of audiobook, okay? Okay, these two are the two main ones that are really bad, so, I liked that aspect. Also, I remember the parentage of Kit, or at least who her father was, being a surprise, being a twist in the movie. I remember that because there was a lot of time where Juliet thought Dazzy was the father, and then learns it's a German soldier or doctor, who was the father and whatnot. No, somebody tells her this, before part 2, before she even gets to Guernsey. She already knows this, right? And so, it's not a twist or anything, right? And so, because of that, there was some conversation about how, maybe not every German soldier was evil, and also the fact that, like, when you spend 6 years stuck on an island with a bunch of people, you have conversations and you talk every day, and you get to know these people, right? And their families and their lives and all this stuff. So that's a thing. And on top of that, one thing I also appreciated, in the book, Juliet, the best house the book group has to, put her in when she's quote unquote visiting is Elizabeth Kit's mother's house. She technically inherited a much bigger house, and they're trying to find her because she was taken to a camp. So they're trying to find her to like be like, here's your inheritance, right? And because it is Kit's family's home, while she continues to spend most of the days with everyone in the society, instead of every night switching whose house she's sleeping in, they just are like, okay, she can stay with Juliet. She likes Juliet enough, and we trust Juliet, so she'll stay with Juliet. And so because of this, her and Kit grow a relationship in which she becomes a very maternal figure. And there's like this whole thing where Juliet's 35 and unmarried, and will she ever, it's not really brought up of will she ever have children, but it's definitely suspected there's like this guy that she kind of is engaged. He thinks that they're engaged. She knows they're not. Right? And there's just an acceptance that she should marry him because she's 35 and unmarried, and so she gotta, and like, who cares about a career, right? And she's very much the type of like, no, I want that, bitch. Writing is what I want, right? Like, that's my life. There's also, on top of that, her best friend's older brother, who she is also her, like, I think editor. I think that's what he is. A lot of people think that, like, they're dating or they're together and they should just tie the knot so that she can have children. Right? Except he gay. So that's not gonna happen. And it's not really brought up, but it's definitely hinted, like, it's in the back of your mind throughout the whole time. And so eventually she recognizes, she does not want to, once Elizabeth is confirmed dead, she, like, wants to stay connected to Kit, and tries her hand at adopting her or becoming her legal guardian or fostering her or something. Initially she's like, I don't know if she'd be good in London. And then she's like, never mind, I don't even want to leave Guernsey. I'll keep her in Guernsey. Like, I'm not taking her to London. And she's like, I don't know if they'll accept me because I'm a single woman. It's never really closed, but you can assume she adopts her because, like, the last 5 minutes of the audiobook is her proposing to Dazzy, which was fucking cute. I will give them that. I was like, wait a second. And then the fact that he's so excited, immediately he's like, yes, thank God, and jumps off a ladder. He's so excited to get to her and sprains his ankle. That's fucking cute. I just realized I have to unload the dishwasher too. God damn it. I'll wait for this to dry, and then I'll do the topper after this, after I unload the dishwasher. So that is happening. Blah, blah, blah. Also, another thing I remember from the movie is, I think her name's Amelia, like the kind of head of the society, not wanting Juliet to write her book about them because she's scared that the German relations will try to take Kit from them if they learn about Kit because of this book. Especially since the book's mostly focused around Elizabeth. That's eventually what happens. That's not a thing in this book. Right? It's believed that he did know about his child, and so, like, if he didn't tell his family, there's reason, right? Blah, blah, blah. So it's not an issue in this. And so, I think in retrospect, I like it more than the movie. That being said, it's still not for me. It's still not for me. And I'm giving 2.5 stars. So that's fun. I remember posting it on Fable and then immediately getting like 5 likes or something. Which is, it is the most amount of likes I've gotten on a review, and it was like immediate. So that's fun. Fun fact, I have a Fable now. Other things, this morning, there's so many books I need to read. Did I start any of the ones I actually need to read? No. I think that's gonna be next week's vlog. Actually, I think that's the plan for next week's vlog. I did get, remember what I kept on saying, I think it's volume 8 of Yona. I was gonna have to wait a long time because it's like a 3-week wait list, blah, blah. Whoever was first place on the hold skipped their turn. So I got it this morning. I woke up to that. So I'm fighting the urge. I'm fighting the urge. Everyone should be so fucking proud. Instead, I started The Seep, which is another book that I have like a week left of my loan. So I'm like, I might as well read it. And it's like 210 pages. I've only read 2 chapters, which is like 15%, but I'm having a good fucking time. I'm trying to, it's like if Pew and Severance and This Is How You Lose the Time we're all combined into a book. It follows a woman, and an artistic woman, a woman who's always been artistic, right? After there's an alien invasion, and part of the alien invasion is there's like a drug almost, that like when you come in contact with generally water, because they immediately put it in the water so the humans are immediately affected by it, that makes it so that you feel and see and all blah blah in a certain way, like you're high. And they call it the Seep, right? The aliens basically erase the economy. So people are just creating art constantly, because they can. And initially, it's great for her, because like she doesn't have to worry about her student loans anymore, because that was thrown out. She doesn't have to work 5 jobs or how many jobs to make ends meet, right? All this stuff, but after a period of time of going through different journeys of art, she realizes, or artistic pursuits, she realizes that it's not the same, because a big portion of what makes art is the seep now, and not actually your soul, not like actually putting effort into your art, right? And so then she goes and becomes a doctor, to feel like she's actually doing something, and it's very much given, there's like a small group that don't follow the Seep or what the aliens do and feel like life should have stayed the same, right? And this chapter 2, her and her wife are at a party in which she's the only one who wants to like be able to feel when she sees or does art, and nobody really fully understands what she means when she's like, but are you on the seep when you're seeing it? Or she's not taking shots of the seep or drinks of the seep at the party because she doesn't want to. And so people don't understand why she doesn't want to be high constantly on it. And people are like changing, because of the seep you can change parts of your body, and other people have like made make themselves constantly look the same age, like they never grow old, or gave themselves cat tongues or like other things to make them look cool. And she's like not into any of that. And her wife apparently wants to become a baby again so that she can be parented again. And so that's the thing she has to deal with. And I'm liking it. It's weird, but I'm liking it. It's like one of those weird books, but like it's fun. And it's saying something. Also, they. Very much like they. Okay, I changed my mind. It's like Pew and, or Severance and they, or Pew and they. Just threw a they in there with all the other ones I brought up. So yeah, that's what's happened. I've read 15% of that. I'm probably gonna finish it after I finish my nails and unload the dishwasher. And water my plant. I keep on forgetting. I don't water my goddamn plant. Damn it. Maybe update you later today. Who knows? I meant to read a whole other thing today for the podcast, but I guess that's next week's vlog. God, the hiccups today. It's just gonna be me reading the books I need to read. Damn it. Okay. Goodbye before the hiccups become worse. Well, I'll do this update actually fast because I have chips and salsa. I want to eat my chips and salsa. This is the first time I've had Doritos in like over a year. On stream today, I may put some of it up before this. I think I'm gonna definitely put some of me cooking because I did cook on stream, but also some of me reading I may put up with different music because it was definitely copyrighted music that he was playing, that we were all playing for our Twitch streams. That's not important. Finished The Seep, and I'm going with 3.5 stars. The first part was really good, and a little bit after the point in which her wife does become a baby again. Dude, fucking the fact that her wife is like, I want you to raise me as a baby, as like ignoring the fact that all the life experiences you've had up to this point is what makes you you. And so you will have completely new life experiences and not your old memories. So, and she's all like, it'll just be another proof of our romantic love. And it's just like, you want your lover to literally raise you? That's kind of icky. That's giving an ick feeling, okay? But also, like, ignore the fact that you'd be a completely different fucking person. Right? You wouldn't be the same person and all this stuff. And literally after the fact, a lot of the ways other people word it is like she died. Because in this world, there's basically no such thing. Like, you can die, but you'll just like become something else. Because of the way that the world works, and it takes a lot to die. Right? And so turning to something completely different, being a completely different thing, is considered dying in this world. So by her turning into a baby, and being raised by completely other people and living a completely different life, other people are being like, I'm sorry for your loss to her, because it's like viewed as dying. Also, another thing is that the main character is trans. There's a point where the closest thing there is to a villain other than the aliens, in this, is a guy who, one, is a white man, and before everything, his black boyfriend was died. And so when the Seep started and he could become anything, he became this white man, became a dead black man. And obviously, that's not cool, my dude. She brings that up to him, and he compares it to her transition. There are like points where like she has an old friend who is very gender fluid, and so some days a female version of themselves, some days a male version of themselves. And so there's a little bit here and there throughout about gender identity and being able to fluctuate. And when you like meet someone for the first time, when you see someone for the first time, anything like that, there's like specific symbols to show what your pronouns are, and it will like automatically do that, right? So that's like a whole thing. Anyways, the actual story, after around halfway part 2, after her wife does become the baby, right, and she's wallowing in her grief for 5 years, it gets to the point where she can't move on, but she's being physically forced to, and so she goes on like a journey where she's like going to all these old places from before the Seep and the beginning of the Seep, earlier in her life and whatnot, while also experiencing Seep in new ways because it's evolving. And part of that is that the Seep is trying to take away free will because people are sad, which is just like a thing of being human, right? And so she has to talk the Seep into letting people be sad and making decisions on their own because free will is important to human beings. That's what makes them human beings. Memories and free will are what make human beings and all this stuff. Also, I thought a person had just become like a bear because there were like things where people would become like birds and whatnot. And so there's this character that was like a bear, and I assumed it was like a bear. No, it wasn't an actual fucking bear. That because the Seep has sentience. So that's a fun thing. Anyways, it comes full circle where a close friend of hers dies. As close to dying you can do in this world. Right. And like body decomposing, so like they remove her soul and she dies type thing. And because of this, she goes to this funeral, but she didn't go to her wife's what was called funeral when she became a baby again. So it's coming full circle of being able to experience this for somebody, and the love to come from that and all this stuff. And there are parts that were better done. The journey of going through her past while also having to fight this Seep with morals and this other guy with morals, because that was also another thing. It was not my favorite. It's not my favorite. So it was gonna be like a 4-star, maybe a 4.5, and ended up being a 3.5. And that's that. I started 4th Wing. I'll probably only read a chapter or 2, so I'm not gonna say much about that. I'll probably update you late tonight. I'll try to actually do it late tonight and be like, okay, this is how much I read of it. Goodbye. Because I forgot this is the last day for this one. Tomorrow I gotta start the next one. So that's fun. Anyways, that's everything. I'm eating my chips and salsa. Goodbye. Hello, hi, it's after 10 p.m. so we're being quiet. But I did say I was gonna update tonight. So I'm updating tonight. My goal for the night was to reach page 100, and I did. 109 technically, which is 17%. 4th Wing. Funny story, the whole reason why I'm reading this, I went, hey, how much do you want to bet I can read this by any day tomorrow? And she jokingly said, the nickel on my desk right next to me. This was before I saw the page length. Just short of 650 pages. The audiobook, 21 and a half hours. It's gonna take me like 6 hours tomorrow to read the rest of it. And that's fine, that's fine. I'm at the part where she's one of the trainees, first years for the Dragon Riders. And their first day of schooling officially. All the academics, she's like easy peasy lemon squeezy for her. Makes sense because she's been training to do that her whole life. Is the battle stuff that she has difficulty with, so she has a friend who's gonna help train her, and also her sister gifted her a journal from her brother. They had a brother, which I know things about this book, including the love triangle, kind of, and also the end plot twist that has to do with her brother, and also that she not only gets a dragon, but she gets multiple. So, but because of the journal from her brother and notes and techniques and help that he's put in there, she thinks that she can easily figure out who she's paired up against for training next. And if I remember properly, there's something about poison. I feel like that's a thing, which is something I would enjoy reading. So that's that. And I'm having an experience. I'm not disliking it. Funny story. I think is it EDS? I should double check this. It is EDS. Which is, from descriptions, I believe the disability that Violet, the main character, has, which also is what the disability that the author has, which is so funny. I don't think I had ever heard about EDS until technically December. The first book I read of the year was a book where the main character has EDS, and so does the author. And also, a YouTube channel I used to watch. I started rewatching them recently because they're talking about their journey, with getting pregnant as a queer couple, right? Learned the other day that she has EDS. I know she was disabled, but I didn't know that's exactly what she had. It keeps on popping up in my life. I don't know. So that's just a fun fact. But yeah, she's dealing with the fact that she has EDS and also has to fight. Also, her mother is a general, and a lot of people dislike her mother because she had something to do with their family member's death. There's a lot of people who were like forced into conscription, and their parents were traitors, and so were executed by her mother, and so now they want to kill her because of that. And then also her like main ringleader guy of her wing in the fourth wing, I think his name is Zayden. He's one of the love interests. The other one's her childhood best friend. Obviously, I'm gonna be into the enemies to lovers guy. He also wants to kill her because his dad killed her brother, and for that, her mother killed his dad. But he's like considered one of the best dragon riders, right? And all this stuff. And has one of the scariest dragons and all this stuff. I know they bang, so it's funny reading it. Just be like, haha, I know you be in bed soon. So, and then the other love interest, the best friend, is Dane, who a lot of it, he is the only person there, other than the healers, who know about her EDS. And so because of that, it's a lot of him trying to force her to go be a scribe, despite the fact that constantly she keeps on telling him like she can't do that, it's too late, she can't do that. And then he'll be like still trying to tell her to do it, trying to forcefully drag her there, and she's like, I can't, because then my mother will just bring me back, like it doesn't matter, right? And then another time when she's injured, right, on mat, and he brings her into the healers, he is like, we can't heal her, because if we don't heal her, then there's reason enough to take her down to the scribes. And she's like, shut the fuck up and let them heal me. She'll just drag me back anyways. Like, and it takes her like 5 minutes to explain that to him. I hate him so much just because he won't take her answers. He has to try to push his ideas or views on her, or what he thinks she should do. despite the fact that she's like, no, I'm gonna do this. He's like, but you need to do this. You need to do this. And I already dislike her because of that. On top of the fact that I'm not a big friends to lovers person. So, you know, I don't trust him. I don't trust Dane. I don't have any reason except for the fact that he kind of gives me the ick because of that. So, anyways, that's my thoughts, opinions on the first 109 pages of Fourth Wing. Stay tuned for next week's episode where I'll read the rest of it in one day and then tell you about it. And that's that. I'm gonna go to bed. Well, I'm gonna go watch YouTube for an hour and then I'll go to bed. Goodbye. I should probably promote things, do the things. If you want to do things, links below. Podcast Fridays, every other Friday. This is going to be the one episode for January. So, Fourth Wing is. There's that. Saturdays, reading vlogs. 2 more of these. Specific kind. And Wednesdays are gaming videos from streams. I'm trying to make them not as long. And that is everything. Until next time.